It's also a good idea to update to make sure your campus information is updated. You can also opt in for campus alerts, which is a very nice thing in the event of severe weather or other campus situations where you would need to be notified. I'm probably a little too plugged in because when we have a weather update or something, I get a phone call, I get a text, they call me at home. It's really cool. I am plugged into that. So, but you can set up your contact information and determine how you want to be notified. Another function in MyBama that is very helpful for me as an instructor, again, I teach as an adjunct, teach one course a semester, maybe 12 students. So I know some of you guys are going to have giant courses, some of you have small courses, but I have, being, an elderly dude like I am, I know you're all looking at me going, wow, that guy's old. So I have trouble with faces and names, right? So the photo class list, wait, we did that already. Okay, so the photo class list in MyBama will show you your class roster. It will show you their UA action card ID picture that they took for Bama Bound at orientation. This is really cool. This helps me a ton. And you're saying, hey, Rick, why did you put cats and dogs and cartoon monsters and Bobby Hill in your class roster? Well, I share that with you because my actual class roster is considered to be sensitive information, right? You'll get the legal talk later in the workshop, but you don't go around sharing your class information with folks. So I created this in Photoshop. Many hours were spent, many hours. Okay, I worked on it a long time, but I'm pretty happy with it. That's actually one of a former kitty cat of ours. Anyway, so y'all don't care about that. But you can see your photo class list. Very handy. And again, it is that picture that is on their action card, which is very handy, except, and I'll give you this little pointer, I teach a 400 level class. Typically, my students are juniors and seniors, and over the years, between getting that Bama Bound ID and becoming a junior or senior at the university, they don't look exactly like this. Just be advised, and that's sometimes a challenge for me. But again, I'm challenged with memorizing names and faces, so it helps me a lot to be able to go through and see faces with names. Our colleagues in Gordon Palmer at the IT service desk are where you go when you have issues with computer technology. Should you forget your MyBama password or need to change your MyBama password, you would contact the IT service desk. They're on the first floor, Gordon Palmer, 348-5555. You've got all this information. I had a deal a couple of semesters ago. I related to the first group of folks I spoke to today that I'm kind of a nervous typer. When I'm in front of a group, I don't mind talking to you, but when I type in front of you, I'm a nervous typer. So I was logging into MyBama in class, so I'm much the same deal. You know, I got a computer, the projector's up, I'm logging in, and you know how you tab between fields as you're filling out things? I tabbed, I wasn't really paying attention, and I just typed my password in the clear, so it wasn't the little dots, it was my password. So I freaked out. I had a little come apart in class. But then in the next, I got in touch with the IT service desk people, got my password changed, all was well. I don't really think anybody noticed, but, it worried me. So protect your passwords. If you have office computer problems, if you have viruses, malware, any kind of wireless issues, contact the IT service desk. There are also some software licenses here on campus that we are available to avail ourselves of. There is, for instance, I believe there's an enterprise license for McAfee virus protection software, among other things. So, so check out the IT service desk. They're very handy. They're where you go when the computers just isn't happening for you. Blackboard Learn, anybody familiar with Learn? Blackboard? Yay, okay. Well, get to know Blackboard. That is the university's official learning management system. It does, among other things, it provides you with an online gradebook. You can read, you can do discussions, wikis, blogs. You can do tests, you can do assignments. You can share just about any kind of document or file with your students through Blackboard. And since if you're keeping your grades in it at midterm and final time, you can port the grades from your Blackboard gradebook to Banner, which is the student information system, the official grading information system via Blackboard. My job at the university is to assist faculty, and you guys too. Notice I put a little smiley face. We like graduate students too. If we support the use of Blackboard on campus. So should you have issues with Blackboard, should you need information about Blackboard, if you want to come to some of our workshops, please come. I'd love to have you with that. I'll just, since there aren't a whole lot of people that are terribly familiar with Blackboard, let's jump in here. Again, I'm back at MyBama. There are two ways to access Blackboard. One way, the easiest way for me, is to click on the Blackboard icon that appears at the top of MyBama. That's a button. You can push that. We'll be taken to Blackboard. In the event that MyBama would be down for whatever reason, there is a second way to access Blackboard on campus. That is by going to ualearn.blackboard.com. We have this secondary access because Blackboard hosts our instance of Blackboard Learn that we use on campus. And that means that Blackboard, the Blackboard instance that we use, actually resides on servers that live in Virginia, and there's even a redundant backup host site for Blackboard. So Blackboard doesn't live on campus. We can access it directly or through MyBama. I'll choose the MyBama option here because y'all are tired of watching me type my password. And so this is what Blackboard looks like on campus. The default is to take you to the My Institution page, which is lovely, but I typically don't spend much time there, so I'm going to jump right into my courses. Because I do lots of workshops about Blackboard, I have lots of courses. The courses are listed starting with courses in which I'm an instructor, and then as we scroll down, and again I have a bunch of them, to courses where I'm a student. So those will both appear in your Blackboard course list. I have a number of what we call practice courses. And a practice course is a course that has no enrollment. It's not integrated with the student information system. It is sort of a digital sandbox, if you will. I have one right here that I created for fall of 2014 practice. So we'll click on that to show you what a basically brand new Blackboard Learn course looks like. This is it. There's a lot of things going on screen. There are course menus over on the left side. As instructors, I should backtrack a bit and say there are different roles. You could be a student, you could be an instructor, you could be a teaching assistant. If you are listed as an instructor or as a teaching assistant in a course, you'll get the course management menu over here on the left. These are buttons. The course comes out of the box with a course homepage, which you see here. You have announcements, you have to-dos. To add content to Blackboard, I mentioned how easy it is to share things, and just FYI, I share my syllabus now with my students via Blackboard. I no longer print out syllabus. Now, your faculty person might do things differently, but that's how I do it. I no longer hand out paper syllabi. I make them all available through Blackboard. It's easy to add content. You can organize your course however you'd like. We don't mandate that. To add content to Blackboard, the plus sign up at the top left. So we're going to add, in this case, I will add a content area. And I will call this, let's call it GTA Workshop. I can choose to make it available to students. I can change that later. I'll go ahead and make that available. I'll submit, And notice that my content area link got added at the bottom of the list over here on the left. I can change that. Whenever you see a little two-headed arrow, it means you can drag things about. We educational technology geeks get kind of excited about these kind of things, so this is my life. Thank you very much. So when I click upon the GTA workshop link now, it takes me to this content area into which I can add content. If I choose build content, I have a giant list of things that I can add to my content area. I can add items, files, I can web links. There's an OIRA or Office of Syllabus Management, Office of Syllabus Management tool. You create your syllabus online, you can provide a link to it here. I can add YouTube videos, I can add audios, I can add pictures, I can add videos, course links. I can just add all sorts of stuff to Blackboard. I can choose, I typically, for my class, make my syllabus available as a PDF so that my students can download it and print it if they wish, or I can leave it just as that OIRA syllabus link for my students to access. And just as an aside, I gave this lecture, it's a mini lecture, at the first group this morning. When it comes to technology, technology is awesome and I really love it, but just be advised that not everything works all the time, right? So this morning, the good people at the graduate school go to great lengths to make sure that things are incredibly easy for us presenters. They have our PowerPoints loaded for us on this laptop. I come in this morning and I think, hey, I'll use my Mac laptop. Any Mac people? Yay, Mac, cool. So my Mac laptop, which has just selflessly served with me all these many, many years, this morning decided not to connect to the projector. So have a plan B. In this case, my plan B is actually plan A. So, and relating to the syllabus, I had a couple of semesters ago, I teach at night, I go to class, I'm showing my students, I'm gonna show them my Blackboard course that I've labored on. I get to the syllabus link, and actually the very moment I go to log into Blackboard, the university had a short internet outage. But that short internet outage happened to be the very moment when I was clicking on the Blackboard link. So that's a real confidence builder. So your students really think a lot of you at that point. But always, I'm also, again, being a true geek, I've got my thumb drive with me at all times. So it's good to have a plan B when it comes to technology. That's the best piece of advice I can give you today. So today was the laptop, but thankfully there was a plan A, so I had this laptop. But it doesn't hurt to offer things in different sorts of methods. So with Blackboard, it's a matter of your course being created, which in many departments happens. There are administrative people who do that for you, so that when you click on that Blackboard link in My Bama, you go to your Blackboard course and you will see the courses where you're an instructor and where you're a student. They will be created for you. Then it's just a matter of adding your content and organizing your course. Should you need help with that, we at the Faculty Resource Center are happy to help you. frc.ua.edu, and again, if you remember nothing else of what I say, that's in your presentation, but frc.ua.edu is the website for us, and we would love to talk to you about Blackboard. That's what we do. So the Faculty Resource Center, where I work, is a wonderful place, and we're in Gordon Palmer Hall. We also support other technologies that assist you in the classroom, but interface with Blackboard as well. One of these is the clickers. Any clicker fans? Anyone? Yay, okay, way in the back. Hey. Clickers are audience response devices, I guess is their more generic term. We call them clickers. They're made by a company called Turning Technologies. We use software called Turning Point, which enables you as an instructor to create a presentation that will allow for polling in the classroom. So your students, if they are so required to do, purchase a clicker, They show up in class, they register that clicker in Blackboard so that that clicker number is registered to them. They show up in class, you offer up polling questions that you've created using the Turning Point software, and you get their response. So you can have multiple choice questions, you give your students a chance to respond to it, you can then see how everybody responded and get bar graphs. You can also use this for grading. So clickers are a very nice tool to engage your students in your classroom, particularly in some of the larger lecture classes. Clickers are very heavily used in those, and it's a nice way to get feedback, immediate feedback from your students. But again, we support clickers as well at the FRC, so we can help you with that. Another cool technology that we have, again, that integrates with Blackboard is called Tegrity. Tegrity is a lecture capture system. The recording capabilities are built into, I will say, a very high percentage of the classrooms on campus are built and ready to go for Tegrity recordings. So the lecture capture system, the way Tegrity works, is you walk into your classroom, there will be a podium similar to this, there will be some kind of control panel, there will be a computer of some description, there will be a button on the screen that you click to log into Tegrity. You do that with your MyBama username and credentials and password, and Tegrity will then begin recording your presentation. So it records everything that's going on screen as well as your voice. When you're finished with your presentation, with your class, you click stop and it automatically uploads to the Tegrity server, and then your students can later go back and review what you did in class. That's pretty cool. That's cool by itself. But what makes it even cooler is that Tegrity for your students, and I guess for you as well as an instructor, is searchable. So that were we recording my presentation today as a Tegrity presentation, you would go back later and you would say to yourself, I remember he said the word Tegrity. What was he talking about? You could search for the word Tegrity in the recording that we would have made. It would have found this PowerPoint slide because it had the word Tegrity in it, and it would take you right to that point in the recording. I don't know how that works, but it does, and it's really cool, and I think that would be a very handy thing for your students. So Tegrity lecture capture system supported by us at the Faculty Resource Center. It's a very powerful tool. Yet another tool that we support is called Turnitin. Turnitin is mostly known as a plagiarism detection software application. Turnitin for us integrates with Blackboard. As you create assignments in Blackboard, you create a special Turnitin assignment. A quick overview of Turnitin: you create this assignment, your students then upload their assignment via Turnitin and Blackboard, and then that assignment is then checked against a database that is maintained by Turnitin to detect plagiarism. It's also a very nice tool for grading writing assignments from your students. So it also facilitates peer review for your students if you choose to use that in class. It's a very powerful tool, allows you to do all of your grading in line that is in Blackboard so that it's for you as an instructor doing the grading. These assignments never necessarily have to get printed. You can do all of your grading, you can highlight, you can comment, you can make comments, you can draw on your student's submission, you can assign a grade to it, you could use a rubric if you choose to. You can do all of that through Turnitin, and then all of that will be automatically recorded into your Blackboard grade book. And then your students will be able to go back and review both the originality report as well as your comments and your markup of their assignments. It's a very powerful tool to help your students write better. It's also a very nice tool to help your students learn to properly cite materials that they write. Hopefully it's not so much a gotcha in terms of plagiarism as it is a tool for helping you understand how to cite properly. So we're very excited about Turnitin, and again, we support that at the Faculty Resource Center. Another Blackboard product that we support is called Collaborate, which is a real-time meeting tool, conferencing tool that is made available through Blackboard. It gives you as an instructor the option of sharing live video. There's a whiteboard. You can do application sharing. So you can also instant message. There's a chat feature. You can communicate real-time via voice. There's also a chat feature. And you can record these sessions for later viewing as well. So Blackboard Collaborate is yet another product that we support at the Faculty Resource Center. Again, we have people who specialize in each of these tools, so should you desire to use one of these things, please call us. We'd love to sit down with you and show you about it. A relatively new tool that's on the scene here at the university is Box. Do I have any Dropbox fans here? I love me some Dropbox. Yeah. Dropbox is cool. I use it. I still use it. It's great. There's just one problem. The security people on campus tell us that Dropbox is insecure. I'm making air quotes. You love that? It's not approved for sharing sensitive HIPAA or FERPA data. So, So the administration at the university joined with a company called Box to provide us with an enterprise license for everybody on campus. Students, staff, faculty, all now, by virtue of the fact that we're affiliated with the University of Alabama, have a Box account. It's much more secure than Dropbox. It works essentially the same way, but it is secure and it is approved for sharing sensitive data. I'm going to show you how to access that. Let's take a little jump out of my PowerPoint here. Did I mention I'm a Mac person? Okay, yeah. So, and I'm on a PC, so this is fun. Okay, so to access, there's two ways to access Box. The way that I usually access Box, I log into my Bama, I go over here to the Tech tab, which appears way over here on the right, at least on my Bama setup, right? So you go to Tech tab, then over here on the left, there is a link that says UA Box login or first time setup. So when you do this, now I've already set mine up. My experience will be a little different from yours, but when I click on this link here, it will take me automatically to the web interface for Box. For you as a first-time user, you're going to get some a user agreement that you need to agree to. Who reads those? I don't read them. Agree to that. You'll be taken to Box, and you will see a list of your files. The files are coded to indicate whether or not they're solely for you or if you have shared them. So these little blue files that have little silhouettes on them are folders that I have shared with collaborators, whether on campus or anywhere else in the world. The little sort of brownish files, plain old manila folder looking files, are folders that I am not sharing. That little blue arrow icon indicates that that file is synced. Box also has an app called Box Sync, much like Dropbox, that will sync a folder on your desktop, your laptop, whatever, to Box, so that there would be that folder on your desktop that would always be synced to Box. So that's what the little blue arrow indicates. So these folders have been synced. Some folders I've shared. One of the cool things about Box is I can give people different levels of permission for sharing or collaborating the files. So when I create a file, if I were to send you an email, I could set you up as an editor who would have pretty much all of the privileges: upload, download, delete, edit. I forget what all the permissions are, but I can control the level of access that my collaborators have to these files. I can even make it so that you are just a viewer or a previewer, so that you could only view the files if that was necessary. So we're very excited about Box. In the short time we've had it, I have become quite dependent on it. I have lots of files there. It's cloud storage. It's just great to have a place where I can instantly get to files. Yes, sir. Wait a minute. By default, we're given 10 gigabytes. So notice up here, you're all going to be jealous now because I have 25. Thank you very much. And the reason I have 25 is I typically often will have to share videos with people, largish files, so I requested additional space. So should that be your situation, reach out to the IT service desk to request additional space. I'm trying to remember, I do presentations on Box as well. I believe the account that we've set up with Box, we have a lot of, so I forget the amount and I don't want to misquote it here, but it's a ton of storage. So if you need additional space, feel free to request that. You'll be supported in that. But it is a quite nice tool to have on campus. And we have become very dependent on it. Just since it launched in February, so we've become big fans of Box in a relatively short time. Another cool thing that we support at the university is called iTunes U. If you use any type of Apple device at all, no doubt you're familiar with iTunes, right? So iTunes is how we keep track of our music and videos and other type of multimedia things on our phones and our computers and that sort of thing. Apple several years ago decided to make it possible for educational institutions to offer up content for free via this interface. So think of it as the university's iTunes store, except all of our content is free. So we have an instance of iTunes U. If you go to itunes.ua.edu, you click on that, it will open our instance of iTunes U for you. We have distinguished presenters over the years that have presented here who have been recorded. There are all manner of recordings there, video, audio. Any E.O. Wilson fans here? Several years ago, E.O. Wilson, Dr. Wilson presented here. I had the privilege of coming and recording him. He is now on our instance of iTunes U. He's a rock star. He's been on the Discovery Channel. Yeah, that's huge for me. That's as good as you can get. I know he's done more stuff. Academics, he's big. So we have Dr. Wilson is on here. So these presentations are in the public domain. They're free for you to use. And here's what makes it even cooler is that other universities, museums, various other institutes of education have their own instances of iTunes U. So if you're giving a lecture, say you're teaching chemistry, and you want to see how somebody at MIT perhaps delivers a lecture on a similar topic, it's all there on iTunes U. You can include this. You could use it in your class. It's all there for free. It's information sharing. iTunes U. It's an amazing resource. I wish I had more time to just noodle around on iTunes U to see what's out there. There's some really cool content on iTunes U. So I'm a fan. The technologies that you'll come in contact with in your classroom are generally supported by our colleagues over at Audiovisual Solutions. These guys typically design and maintain the classroom technologies that you'll encounter in your classrooms. For the most part, that is the case. There are some departments who have their own group of folks who maintain their classroom technologies. As I mentioned earlier, when you walk into your classroom, there will be some type of podium, there will be a projector, there will be a computer, there will be some type of interface where you can control what goes on the projector. Our colleagues at Audiovisual Solutions are the guys who take care of that. If you need information from them, if you have an occasion to need assistance with your classroom technology, you can even learn what technology is in your classroom. And I recommend that if you're teaching. Certainly, I would want to know what was going to be there in my classroom in terms of technology for me to use. But our colleagues at Audiovisual Solutions can assist you with that, answer your questions, again, help you troubleshoot should there be any issues. They are in Lloyd Hall, and their website is avs.ua.edu. Great bunch of guys. The technology is very nice here on campus. The Sanford Media Center in the main library on campus is a fantastic resource for you as graduate students, but also for undergraduate students, in that they support the campus with a very nice, I hate to call it a lab because it's not just a lab, but they have a very nice area in the library set up with PCs and Macs. We can all get together and join hands. No, but they have PCs and Macs with state-of-the-art video and audio editing tools. They have a very nice sound booth. If you're in a band, you could just jam your band in there and just record things. It's very nice. It's a very nice setting. They also check out equipment for your students to use, so that should you decide to create, let's say, a multimedia assignment for your students, so instead of writing a paper, you produce a video, the Sanford Media Center is a great resource for that. Your students can access equipment there. They can access the equipment to post-produce what they've produced in the field. The staff at the Sanford Media Center will work with you and your class to talk about the process of getting that kind of work done. They're very, very friendly, very helpful. My advice to you is that if you are going to create such a multimedia assignment, to make contact with the Sanford Media Center early. As you might imagine, as the semester progresses, the demand for their services increase. So great bunch of folks, make contact with them, and they really do have, I'm quite jealous of the nice multimedia equipment that they have. It's very nice and it's accessible. They don't support staff, they don't support faculty, so they are just for students. And that's a fantastic resource, and I'm very happy to say that they are here on campus for us. Accessibility for web content is a very important issue, and that's an issue I believe that's just going to increase in importance. My colleagues at Accessibility and Technology here on campus are working hard to make our technologies more accessible, and that is, just as an example, for multimedia content, one example of accessible multimedia content would be to have closed captions for video recordings. That's a subtle example. They can, of course, give you much more detail. How this typically would affect you as an instructor is that if you have someone in your class who has any kind of accessibility need, you would be presented, that student will identify to you, they will present you with some type of letter from the Office of Disability Services and just requesting whatever accommodations they may need. Now that might be, if you were teaching perhaps a deaf person, they might result in an interpreter coming to your class or assisting them with materials that you have available to them. But the Office of Disability Services they work very hard to make sure that things are accessible for all here on campus. And they work very hard for our students. Likewise, the Center for Academic Success can assist your students in learning how to be better students. They're all about, it's a pretty self-explanatory name, but they're all about making sure our students are successful in being students. Earlier today, Dr. Bonner talked about how we are a student-oriented university, and that is absolutely true. All the folks, really all over campus, are dedicated to making sure your students are successful, and that's what we're here for. So these departments are great resources for you to have to help your students succeed the best way they can. So my last slide, that's my contact information. Again, I tell every workshop I do, if you remember nothing else of what I've said, remember frc.ua.edu. Let's jump to the website now. So here's our website. My world revolves around creating tutorials for Blackboard, so and other technologies that we support. But we have lots and lots of tutorials. Most of these are PDFs, so that when you are setting up your Blackboard course and you say, how do I add that OIRA/OSM syllabus link? It pops up, hopefully. Yay. So there it is. We walk you through step by step, pictures and everything. This is where I spend most of my time. So our website has lots and lots of tutorials. We offer lots of workshops. There's a workshop schedule here. Currently, our workshops go through early September, but I'm about to update this list with the fall workshops. So as you can see, ramping up for the fall semester, we've got talking about universal design. We've got clickers, Tegrity, getting started in Blackboard, new features, do a whole workshop about Box. We talk about Turnitin. We're doing some disabilities perspective workshop. We've got all sorts of things going. All the technologies we support, we have workshops that cover those things. You guys are welcome to join us for those workshops. It's a very simple matter to register. There's a link to register. I'll have one for the fall workshops. So we love to have you there. Love to see you in our office for a workshop. Or if you just have questions, that number that we have, 348-3532, we have a team of ninja-like graduate students who answer the phone and can answer just about any question you have about Blackboard or any of these technologies. If we don't know the answer right off the bat, we will find it out for you, but we are dedicated to helping folk on campus who are using the technologies that we support. So you've been a great audience. Are there any questions before we take a break? Yes, sir. Is this in Blackboard? And what type of file was that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Okay. The default is that the question was when you upload a file to Blackboard or when you create just about anything in a content area, one of the selections that you'll see is you have an option to make something available for a limited amount of time, correct? If you do not check anything by those boxes, it will be available just forever. And what you can do with that is, for instance, in my course, I do my testing online through Blackboard. So I create a test, and I make it available for only a short period of time. So that means the link appears during that window that I specify, and then it disappears at the time I specify for it to go away. But if you don't specify anything, it will just be permanently available in Blackboard. So you don't have to check anything. You only check if you want something to be available for a limited amount of time. So the default is to make it always available. I don't think we as end users have that option to do that in Blackboard. So the default that is set up is to make it permanently available. So that might be a little tedium for you as you create things if you just want things to be available. I don't hope that helps. Anyone else? Oh, yes.
So I'm looking on my computer as I'm listening to your lecture, but it's not clear to me where on my gamma I should go to look at classes that I'm going to be teaching.
There is a, let's go. Yeah, wait one. Let me get back to my Bama. There is a link. Dr. Schmidt, do grad students get a faculty tab if they're teaching assistants?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well, that question, and I don't support directly my Bama, so pardon me if There is an academics tab, which I believe will show a list of courses. And it's a little different. Now let's make sure everything's populated here. Let's just check the faculty tab real quick. I know it's under the faculty tab. So here on my faculty tab, well, you can't really see that. Let me pull that up. I'm blocking it with the podium. There is a faculty dashboard, but again, I'm not 100% sure if GTAs get a faculty tab in my BAMA. So, pardon?
I don't have one.
Ah,
Check with the department, I'm just not sure, maybe the only instructors of record get them. I don't know for sure.
yes.
If you go to the student tab and you look at, well, you don't have.
Oh, yeah, I don't have a student app.
If you look in your student tab and then you look at the classes that you're actually taking, you will see also the classes that you're teaching at the time. Oh, right there. Thank you.
Yes.
One other thing is, your professor, the certificate professor, can actually put you on Blackboard as an instructor.
Correct.
So that's what I did recently last semester. And so I managed the whole Blackboard site, and so I have a faculty tab.
Okay. So, and that response was that if you are designated in Blackboard as a TA, then you will be given that role in Blackboard, and your courses will show up in Blackboard where you'll be listed as an instructor or as a student. So that list of courses will appear in Blackboard, assuming you've been given that role. Hope that helps. Well, thank you very much today. I wish you all the best in your careers here at Alabama, and have a great rest of your day, and roll Tide. Come see us.